Hey guys, welcome back to Amanda's Favorites, where I have new videos every week. Today is part of my Planner Friend Chat series, or Planner Chat with a Friend. I always say that two different ways. And today, my special guest is Sarah Hart-Unger. She is the, what do you call it, creator or host? That's what you call it, the host of Best Laid Plans podcast. And so you might not have even seen what she looks like if you haven't gone to her YouTube channel before, because, sometimes you just hear those podcast voices and you just have to imagine what people look like. So this is really fun. I am going to do my chat today with Sarah, but also we're going to turn the tables and Sarah's going to ask me some questions too. And she's going to air it on her podcast, Best Laid Plans. You can get on any of your favorite podcast listening platforms. And it's also going to be on my channel, so you can listen any which way you want. All right, Sarah, are you ready to jump in? Okay. All right, we're going to start with
I'm ready. I'm so excited.
Oh, thank you I'm so glad that Sarah had this idea for us to do this kind of, different, because both of us interview each other and then air at both places. So I have been a guest on Sarah's podcast before. So I will link that episode down in the description if you guys want to go back and listen to that. And then if you have not been introduced to Sarah's podcast after today, you're going to want to go listen to Best Laid Plans, because if you love planners, you're going to love the podcast. Okay, let's jump into our just fun, like rapid fire questions first to get to know Sarah a little bit. What did you have for breakfast today?
So I went for like a really significant training run today. So I kind of ate like before the run and then again after the run. Before the run, I ate some graham crackers because that's like a thing these days. And then after the run, I had a protein shake called Core Power that has like 26 grams of protein. And I had most of a banana muffin with chocolate chips, which was amazing. Hit the spot after the workout.
Okay, all of that sounds great. And also just a really good run. I mean, that gives you all the endorphins. So you've had a great morning.
Yes, no, I'm in the marathon training phase, so I'm loving it, and this was a good one.
When is your marathon?
So, well, I'm running a half in a few weeks, and then I'm hoping to run the Bayshore Marathon in late May.
Wow. Okay, that's awesome. Okay. All right. Where is the favorite place you've ever lived?
So I would definitely give this to North Carolina. I spent 11 years there between 2002 and 2013. It's where I had my first child. It's where I went to med school residency fellowship. It's where I met my husband. So I think there's some sentimentality there, but I lived in both Durham and Chapel Hill. I love them both. I often think about going back, but we have a lot of family down here. So we are in South Florida for now and maybe forever.
Okay. I've heard so many good things about North Carolina. I've never been there. Okay. So where is your hometown? Where do you consider that your hometown? Yeah. Okay. Um,
Oh, at this point, no. At this point, I consider South Florida my hometown. I've been here now for more than a decade, and I'm actually from outside of Philadelphia originally.
okay. Okay. What would you do if you had a whole day off to yourself?
I would probably play with planners. I would go for a nice long run like I did today. If budget is not any kind of a issue, I would probably get a massage, maybe even like a facial. Somehow my kids would have magically gotten themselves to school, and then maybe I'd go and see them after school. Maybe one of them would be in a sports game. We'd all go out to a nice dinner, and they'd be magically, amazingly well behaved, and then I would have some time to like play with planners or like write out some exciting list about what I'm going to do in the future, and then I'd go to bed early. I'm really
I
fun.
love it. I love it. I always love hearing what their day off would be like. I love that. Okay. And I know you travel a lot, so this will be an interesting one. Where is your favorite vacation spot?
I would say my favorite vacation spot is Amelia Island, Florida. So it's actually not that far, and it is the place we tend to repeat go the most. We've gone, I think, 4 or 5 times now. It's just super chill. There's beaches. It's easy. I just have so many fond memories there, and yeah, I'd say these days it's our favorite. We try to make it at least once a year.
Okay, I'm gonna have to look up Amelia Island now. Okay.
It's almost in Georgia. Like it's as far north that you can get in Florida on the East Coast without being in Georgia.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm picturing it now. Okay. What is your favorite food right now?
I don't know. My favorite food always and forever is peanut butter. So
Okay. Okay.
anything peanut butter cup, peanut butter with a spoon, whatever. That would be my favorite.
Okay. Peanut butter makes everything better. You can add it to like
It does.
anything and it's like, yeah. Okay. What's your favorite season? This is interesting coming from Florida, right? Like,
Yes. I mean, I'm sure I'd have a different answer if I lived somewhere else. Here, it is hands down winter. It is the best season right now. It is amazing for running. It's like delightful. It was like in the 50s today, which for us is a major cold snap. I'm wearing a sweater. I mean, you can see that.
yes.
Um, I love it. And honestly, it's the only season where you can kind of plan things and not have to think like, well, what if there's a massive thunderstorm?
Okay.
So I savor every single winter. I love them.
Okay. Yeah, I would imagine that. All right. Now you can introduce yourself. I know we've learned a little bit through the questions, like, you've told where you live, job, family, share as much as you want to.
Yeah, so we covered a lot about where I'm from, but I work I have an interesting job. So I work 60% time, part-time, but a little more than half as a pediatric endocrinologist. I see patients, I'm fully clinical, I'm busy. That's my Monday, Wednesday, Friday life. And then on Tuesday and Thursday, I am now, I guess, a professional podcaster slash course creator slash writer, etc. I have two podcasts, one that I do with a friend and time management expert, Laura Vanderkam, called Best of Both Worlds. And then I have Best Laid Plans, which I started myself during the pandemic, thinking it was going to be all about paper planners. I feel like it's become more than that. It's paper planners, but also planning techniques and thoughts about planning and productivity, etc. I've had a website that I've had since 2004, which is kind of insane. So it's about to have its 20th anniversary, kind of like in that OG mommy blog crowd, but I didn't have kids when I started. So I was just a non-mommy blog. And I do have three children. I'm married to, my husband is Josh. I met him in med school. He's a vascular surgeon. And my kids are ages 6, almost 10, and 11 and a half. And fun fact, two of them are on a multi-day field trip right now, which is crazy.
Oh, wow. Okay. Like they go kind of like a camp from school.
Yeah, it's like through the school. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, is that like their first time to do that through school?
My younger one, it's his first time because only, he's in fourth grade and that's the first year they go. My older
Okay.
one, this is her third. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So you're already familiar with it. So you're not really nervous. You're like, it's
No, I
okay.
love it. I keep getting pictures all day long, like, oh, now they're canoeing. Now they're doing this. And it's the cutest thing.
Oh, I love it. Okay. All right. Well, it makes sense that they would do that camp during the winter time there, the best weather. So, okay.
Exactly.
All right. Let's jump into some of our planner questions now. What is like the first planner you remember having, like your earliest memory of planning?
I'm going to skip my assignment book because I feel like, we all had those little assignment books we got in school. I can still picture mine, but I'm going to skip to the first one I purchased, which was Exacompta brand, which is a French stationery brand, and it was called the Space 24. It had the days a week on the left, and the right was a blank page. And I loved that I could like make my little to-do list on the right. And I had this in college, I think, and I just loved like packing it full of stuff. And it's when I first realized that planners could be like a luxury good and an experience unto themselves because honestly, Exacompta planners, they weren't super expensive, but they're like really nice paper. Like they're a cut above that spiral notebook that you get in high school. So that was my first gateway into the planning lifestyle.
Wow. Okay. So starting out with your first planner, you kind of already went outside of the box. Like, buying a planner from a French company that, probably wasn't advertised here a lot. I've never heard of them. Are they still making them
I
today?
have no idea. I think I just got it at I think so. I think they're also the same company that makes Rhodia, which is still pretty popular, or
Yes.
related to that company in some way. And I think I just bought it at a store. I wasn't,
Okay.
I mean, there was not really online shopping back then anyway. So it must
Yeah,
have been
duh.
some
I don't know
random
what,
boutique that
yeah.
I was just like browsing planners. Yeah. But yeah, I think they're still around actually.
Okay. I love that. All right. What are some of the planners that you used as an adult, like before you found like the Instagram planner community?
So, and I have such an like interesting relationship with the Instagram planner community, which is that I don't really look at it anymore because I'm kind of like allergic to Instagram. I like it does things to me that are not great. So I have to rely on people like Amanda and her amazing YouTube channel and some other YouTubers and just sort of some select people to keep me aware of what is going on. And actually, that's Amanda's like amazing for that. If you kind of want to break from social media, but you do not want to miss out on any of the planner stuff, like Amanda's stuff is just like her channel's amazing. Anyway, sorry, that was not meant to be an ad, but it's true. So
Thank
first planner,
you.
before I came across all of that stuff, I was really into ERIN CONDREN, I think in like the early 2010s, like in some of her earlier releases, and I loved it. I had that 3-box layout, all the colors, the stickers, etc. I found it really functional, that layout. I mean, I still find it really functional, and I enjoyed using it, and I used it until a friend of mine, I think I saw it on a website called Plannerisms where she did planner reviews. And I remember the headline was like daily, weekly, and monthly planner. And I'm like, what? Excuse me? And then it was the Hobonichi. And then I never
Okay.
really went back.
Okay. I love that. Okay. Yes. And Hobonichi still to this day. I mean,
Yes,
okay.
I don't know if we're gonna get into current stock, but yeah, I love me some Hobonichi.
We are for sure. Okay. Um, so this, I'm going to kind of group these together for you to all talk about. First of all, like when did you find the planner community? And do you remember what planner you were using at the time when you found it? And then tell us like what are the hard parts of the planner community for you? Like especially on Instagram, and what parts do you enjoy?
Yeah, I enjoy the people. I mean, I've connected with you. I've connected with the planners and wine ladies. I've connected with like I've emailed with Sierra from Moxie Life, and like getting to like meet these like individuals is like it's so cool. Like there are people behind all of these things. And I did enjoy when I was on Instagram. I'd get lots of good ideas, but I just have a very addictive personality when it comes to Instagram, and I tried so many times to moderate. And I just couldn't do it. I mean, I really couldn't do it. And so I quit Facebook, I think, in 2016. And then I quit Instagram in 2021. I just put up a post that was like, sorry, guys, like you can find me at all these other places. Um, but I'm not going to be here. Like, and then I left, and it does make me sad. Like, I remember I used to read like Gen Plans. Like, there was a lot of creators that I don't see as much anymore because I feel like they don't have as much of a presence outside Instagram. And who knows, maybe someday I'll figure out some way to kind of go back in a very moderated way. But right now, I'm just kind of happier staying on the outskirts. And again, I do find YouTube to be somehow less of a problem for me. I'm really enjoying, obviously, I love your stuff. I like Rachel in Theory, who does a lot of Hobonichi stuff. She's really interesting.
Mhm.
My daughter and I like to watch Amanda Rach Lee videos together. She's like a doodle planner,
Yes.
major like bullet journal artist. Oh, and I will say I was like initially really in like the Bujo community more than the planner community. Like that's kind of where I started. And I feel like in the Hobonichi world, there's like it does kind of have a flavor of both because a lot of people use their Hobonichis in a more bullet journal esque. But really, those lines are so blurry. Like it's really all one thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I love that. And I love hearing your favorite YouTubers and that your daughter and you watch Amanda Rach Lee together. So I love that. And I have so many feelings on Instagram too. And so I can relate. And that YouTube feels completely different for me. When I go on YouTube to like look at a video or something, I do not feel the same pull that Instagram has over you. So I agree with you there. Totally different.
It's just like calmer. It's a calmer vibe.
And it's like there's something without the scrolling. It's not like constantly, like this is spit at you, that spit at you. Like it's pulling you in a lot of directions, yeah, calmer. Yeah, they're so true. Okay. We won't go, that could be a whole discussion in itself to talk about Instagram and YouTube. Um, All right. So yes, I would love to hear your current stock right now. Let's do that.
Sure, and I have visual aids. So Amanda mentioned my YouTube channel, which is hilarious because I mean, I have a YouTube channel, but like, I'm not a YouTuber. It's very obvious when you see my channel. I have like 3 videos. But for those who do want to see things in person again, yay! Today is your chance. You get to see it. So you have to come to Amanda's channel to see that. All right, so I have here like my literal everyday stuff. You're gonna be excited about some of it. Okay, this is my Hobonichi cousin Avec. It was today. I've written in some of it. I am like super, I would say kind of like bullet journaling style, very neat, very like, I don't know, I put a lot of details in here. I use the weekly, I use the daily, I use the yearly, I use everything. And then in the back, look what I have tucked in there.
Aw.
Amanda's planner that she did with Ashley Shelley. I actually don't have a lot in this right now, but I'm gonna use it for travel planning specifically to put travel details. So I'm excited for that. I started what I'm calling my experience journal this year, and I've been doing it every single day so far. I mean, it's only late January, so the year is young, but I just use this little smaller Hobonichi to record some experience I had every single day, and it's been like really gratifying. And then I decided to like track my screen time and my habits in the front, mostly because I wanted to have some kind of use for these pages, but that's been kind of fun. I have like a mixed history with tracking habits. Sometimes I enjoy it, sometimes I don't, but right now it's fun, so I'm going with it. So this is a Hobonichi A6 size. It's actually in Japanese because I was too impatient to wait for the English version, and I don't really necessarily care about reading the quotes anyway. With a really pretty cover from the Liberty
I love
Fabrics
that
collection.
cover. Mm.
Me too. Oh, and this one's fabric too. It's actually denim. I really like went very tactile with my covers, and I love this pair. The third thing I have is totally new this year, and this is a cloth and paper disc bound planner that I'm using just for like longer term goals and lists, and I'm having so much fun with it. It feels great. Like the leather is nice. The paper is surprisingly like I didn't know I was gonna like the paper as much like the paper. Honestly, to me, it actually has some similarities to ERIN CONDREN paper. Like there's some tooth to it. It has like a almost drier feeling to it. It pulls the pens and like the colors look so pretty on it. So I'm just using this for like all kinds of lists. I'm tracking my reading in here. I keep my seasonal goals and my monthly goals and my annual goals in here. And anybody who listens to my podcast knows I like to do all of my sort of goals and task lists by horizon of like how big it is. So anything month or higher goes in here, and then anything week and day, just tasks, go in here. But yeah, this has been a really fun addition this year. And then finally, my stack is kind of small this year. I have my 5-year journal, which I am on. It's from Hobonichi as well, and I'm on year 4. So it's really cool. Like a
Wow.
lot of these pages have 3 or 4 in them. I'm not like super, and then I'll stick like random pictures, like tip stuff in. Like I'm kind of like casual about it, but
Yeah.
honestly, it's so fun. And I don't keep most of my planners. I get rid of them. But this is like designed to be. Obviously, I'm going to keep this, and like I can keep
Yes.
one of these every year, every 5 years for the rest of my life, and it still wouldn't be that many books, which is kind of sad, but also kind of cool. So
Yes.
yeah, I'm enjoying that. And that's it for my paper planning products. I did have a meal planning thing that I was using, and I lost it at the grocery store. So
Oh no.
I guess that's why we don't always want to do that.
Well,
I took a trip to Trader Joe's, and then I was like, oh, that's gone. So that's okay. I'm just using
shoot.
paper lists now.
Well, I take a notebook to the store every week too, because I'm a paper, like make my list on paper person, but I've never lost my notebook at the store.
Be
Okay.
careful, beware. I don't know how it happened, but it's okay.
Yeah, yeah. I love your stack, and I love what you're using the A6 Hobonichi for. Just like, in that you don't even feel like you have to fill up the whole page, like you said, it could just be one experience a day.
Yeah.
And I love your 5-year Hobonichi because I have kept 2 5-year journals, and I feel like I'm gonna be tempted for the next one I get to be a Hobonichi 5-year, because it just yeah, the feel of Hobonichi and everything, it
You
just lends itself to journaling, you know?
It does, and I love using it with like brush pens, and honestly, like the side that the paper means that it's not even that big, like so many pages. You can fit a lot in there.
Yes, yes. And like you said, I actually haven't kept even all my planners since I started my channel either. I mean, I didn't keep any planners before I started my channel, but since I started my channel, I have kept some planners. But you know, I I don't keep them all, and I probably won't keep them the rest of my life for sure. Just like while I'm doing this. So I agree with you. It's nice to have like a 5-year journal, something special like that, that you could look back on your handwriting and like actual events and things, because I think it feels really different than an online journal.
Totally. And I definitely have plenty of that, having a blog since 2004, but it's different. Plus you can put more private stuff in there.
Exactly. Exactly. Yes. Okay. So I loved hearing your stack. Do you feel like do you have a couple of planners or paper that you would blend to make like your perfect planner right now?
Yes, I guess the only thing I would love is if somehow, and actually this does kind of exist, and yet I don't use it, which is that sometimes I do get kind of tired of the Hobonichi paper. And so having some kind of Hobonichi like layout, but like with EC paper or even the paper in the cloth and paper or the golden coil paper would be really, really fun. Now it would be too thick. So you'd have to have some kind of like quarterly system for the dailies or something else. Like I'd have to think about how that would work. But it would be really enjoyable and fun to use. I will say, for me, the change in the paper that Hobonichi uses has been a big improvement because I used to struggle with my gel pens and everything was smudge. And ever since they changed it, it is like another world for me. So, that's been great. So I'm almost at like full planner piece. Like I honestly think this might be the year I just like stay in everything. We'll see. But yeah,
Wow.
some kind of Hobonichi layout with easy paper. And Hemlock and Oak does make basically that. That's why I was going to say that does exist.
But not all in
But they
one
don't
book.
have, yes,
Like
not
you
all in
said,
one
they don't
book.
do
And
it quarterly and yeah.
yeah, so maybe they need to think about that, or even like maybe a 2 volume set that was a little bit thicker. And I also have to say, I love the like cover culture that comes with Hobonichi, like the ability to like pick these cool covers that you could change out. Like, let's say in the summer, I'm in a different mood. Like, I know you with your like Planner Perfect, you'll switch everything out with the
Yes,
covers. And I think it's just so fun to have that flexibility.
I agree. And I love Hobonichi covers too. Just the way their covers are made and their pen holders. Those are great covers. Okay. You talked about pens. I agree with you on the Hobonichi paper too, because I have a Han this year cousin, and I agree that the gel pens feel like they do a lot better. Now it's been like years since I've used one, so it's kind of hard unless I pull out an old one and like do a side by side. But like I feel like the gel pens do better. So you're like confirming that for me that like, yes, the new, you know, yeah. Okay, so
For me,
tell
it's a
me your
major difference.
yeah, okay, that's good to hear from you. Tell me your favorite favorite pens right now.
Yeah, well, I can do a little pen demo. So I'm pretty simple with like, I don't actually like carry around a ton of pens, but I love these. These are my favorite. They're the Energel Clena 0.4 is my preferred. I think you like the 5 maybe, or some people find them thin, but I really like them. My runner up, and I always switch back, which is I'm more into, would be the Pilot Juice Up, also in the O4. I usually buy most of my pens directly from Jet Pens. I find that when I get them elsewhere, they're like not as good. So I don't know what that means. I have recently gotten some really random pens from Cloth and Paper. This one doesn't even have a brand, so it's hard. I cannot even share what it is, but it's got like little exclamation points. So I don't know what that logo is, and it's a great gel pen in like a cool gray color. I love Signo DXs. This is in kind of a vibrant red. And then for ballpoint, I love Uni Jetstreams, and I like the 0.38. And then finally, I almost always just use the same color selection of Mildliners. Like I always have to have like these pastel colors available. And then, oh, now I'm getting up. Oh, I cleaned up.
That's okay.
See, so what happened? Here we go. The clean color dot are my kind of my other go-to accent markers, or I'll use the little circle tip as like a place to make a checkbox. So those are pretty
Okay.
commonly used as well. That's it. Pretty much
Okay, I
it.
love it. all those pens I think I'm familiar with, except the cloth and paper one we don't know. And you said Pilot Juice Up or what was the juice one that you said?
Yes,
I
not Juice, because Pilot makes a lot of pens
Right,
under the
because I've
line
tried the
Juice,
juice,
but
but I've never tried that one
they're
that you said.
different.
Yeah, I've never tried that one.
Yeah, the Juice Up, I think, are supposed to be a slightly, maybe more luxe version of the Juice. And actually, I have some pastel ones too, right here. Is this a no-no for you too, like getting up and moving around? I'm just kidding.
No, you're
So
totally good.
these are also juice ups, and look, they're like really really pretty pastels. There's even a white one. I've never actually used the white one, but I bet my daughter would have fun experimenting with the white one on like black paper or something.
Yes.
But yeah, juice up.
Okay. Okay. I might have to give those a try then. And then you mentioned your daughter, and I was just thinking, so now as she's getting older, you really have like someone to play with you and planners and to kind of get excited about the same things that you're getting excited. Like when you did your Hobonichi order and stuff, I remember you talking about that she was excited too.
Yeah, she got a Weeks. She's been using it. She loves making lists. She's into digital planning too. Probably that's normal for her generation. And now that she has a phone, she's like, "Oh, look, I made a morning routine checklist and I did this and that and it's adorable." And but no, she legit like enjoys planning and has access to really nice stuff, I think, for an 11-year-old because she uses all of mine.
Yeah. She's very lucky. Yes, for sure. Okay. Now this is kind of off the subject of planners, but still I feel like in the realm of planning. So, do you have like a set morning routine? I have a feeling you do. And like, do you have any tips for people who want to build in a morning routine but aren't really great about that?
So actually, and I did not plant this question, we did a whole episode on Best of Both Worlds just a couple weeks ago about morning routines. I think it was last week.
Okay.
I'll send you the link if you want to include
Yeah,
it in
we'll
the
link
notes.
it. Yes, yes.
I'm like an elaborate morning routine person, and part of that is my planning. I do most of my planning in the morning. I'm excited to hear about when you do your planning, Amanda. But I get up really early because as I said, I'm marathon training. A lot of times I'm starting to run at like 5:30, but I want to kind of like plan, drink coffee, do stuff beforehand. And so I generally get up somewhere in the fours. I usually read some kind of nonfiction, kind of set up my day, make my list, do my little journal entry. I do this in the morning. If I was going to do it at night, I would never do it. So I do it in the morning.
Okay.
And then I go for my run and I try to get back in time to like then get the kids up and we do all the school stuff. So, but yeah,
Okay.
it's pretty long.
But it works for you and you fit in all the important things in your life right
It
now.
does. Oh, and you asked for a tip. So the tip would be go to bed early. I mean, I know that's people know that, but I can't tell you how many friends are like, "Oh, yeah, I can't do mornings." And I'm like, "Well, when do you go to bed?" And they're like, 11. I'm like, "Well, yeah, like you're not going to get up at 5 if you go to bed at 11 and feel like doing anything." So I do go to bed pretty early most nights, not every night, because I want to enjoy my mornings. That's like the first step.
Yeah, I agree with that. Okay. So, I'm a big listener to Best Laid Plans. Um, and so what would you tell people some of your most favorite recent episodes um to kind of like so they can kind of jump in and start listening?
Yeah, I would say if you want like an overview of my stuff, I did one recently called All About Nested Goals, which is kind of like about the goal setting technique that I've developed over time and talks a lot about how I do my planning. So that one would be a good one. I just had a friend on, her name is Kay, and she talked all about her digital planning. And honestly, that got so much positive feedback that I'm going to need to have more probably digital planning type content in the future. And let's see. I always enjoy the episodes where I get to share my goals. So if you're into that, I mean, I love listening to other people share their goals. So I do that every year. So right at the start of the new year, I think it was on January 1st, I shared all my goals for 2024. So that might be a fun one to check out.
Okay, those are great. And yes, Sarah, if you like want some direction and goal planning, like she is so good for that. And you can scroll through and you'll find like a number of episodes like throughout the year and where she checks in and everything on that and tells you her system and her method. And so I definitely recommend listening to those if you're into goal planning for sure.
Aw,
And who
thank
in the
you.
planner world is like not want information on goal planning. Like we're, like that's a big thing about how you do it. Okay. And last, to wrap up my questions for you are like, how did best laid plans come to be? And how long have you been doing it? And like, what do you foresee the future of best laid plans?
Yeah, so it started in 2020 because, I'm a physician and it was the pandemic and things were like a little crazy. And then, like, sometimes we had to work from home or they'd have us mandatory. Not, I don't know. There was like so much going on and I needed an outlet. And I was like, I'm really leaning into my planners right now. Maybe I should do an episode about my planners. So that's how it started. So we're almost 3 years in. I think there's maybe 140 some episodes at this point. I release one every single week. Where is it going? So in 2023, last year, I that is when I officially became part-time at my regular job, my physician job, and was like, how can I reach more people? People are asking for, I kept getting emails that were like, could you do like consulting or like, could you work with me? And I'm like, okay, that sounds interesting, but how could I reach more people? And then I got the idea, hey, there was actually a guest I had on named Kelly, who's an amazing, she was an attorney and she does courses about planning, digital planning for lawyers now. And she's like, she encouraged me. She's like, you could do a course too, because you're teaching a whole set of methods and there are going to be people who want to be like walked through those methods in more detail and like a more interactive format. And so then I started doing Best Laid Plans Academy in early last year. That was really successful. So that's kind of expanded into some other offerings. And that's what I see for the future. I mean, I want to keep the podcast going, but I love the course piece and getting to work directly with people and getting to know them. And I don't know if you know this, Amanda, but I held a live, well, you probably do if you listen, but I held a live event and that was bananas. Like it was a big risk because I was like, are people really going to, come want to fly all the way out? And turns out like they did. I had 18 women there. And people from all over the country met me in Fort Lauderdale for 3 days of planning your 2024 together. It was so much fun. The group gelled together much more than I ever would have dreamed. I mean, like literally the chat is still going from that group. It's amazing.
Wow.
So like I see more of that hopefully in the future. I mean, from a business standpoint, it was the least profitable thing I've probably ever done. I actually lost money on that, but I don't care. Like I'm doing it again. I loved it. So if I can figure out ways to make that more sustainable, then hopefully more of that in the future as well.
Yes, I love that. And I remember hearing about that on your show. And I think that is so awesome. But it is interesting to hear that was like your least profitable thing because I think people don't realize that, like how much goes into something like that, like a
Live
lot.
events are just so different because it's so much overhead that you don't normally think of when you're creating something online. Like, oh, right, I'm feeding these people, I'm paying the hotel and renting space and renting the projector and having this and having that, and they need sweat. Like, it adds up. But it was so fun. It was so fun. I'm hoping to do it again. So whatever, you have to have a loss leader.
And I just love how you have over these years, you morphed into, like you said, only working like 60% as a physician now and kind of morphed into your hobby that you love and enjoy kind of became, another part-time job avenue that you were able to take advantage of and even be able to work less because of that, which I'm not saying you're not passionate about, a physician and your patients, your pediatric patients. I'm sure you are very passionate about them too, but
Honestly, I think it makes me a better doctor because every time that I go to work, I'm not burned out from it. I'm so excited to be there. Like I want to bring my all. I think that, I mean, obviously there's nothing wrong with working 5 days a week, but for me, this is like such a sweet spot that has me excited to do each thing on any given day. And I feel like I bring a freshness to my clinic that I not sure I always had, but I mean, it's hard to tell. My kids were also younger then and everything, but I love it. For me, this feels like such a fun mix, and I feel very lucky to be able to do both.
I love that. That's a great perspective on it that I didn't actually think of. So makes total sense. Okay. I am going to let you turn the tables now and you can ask me whatever you want.
Yay! My turn. Awesome. All right, I'm gonna pull up notes and we'll do that if I can. So, thank you so much for coming on this hybrid episode of Best Laid Plans / Amanda's Favorites YouTube. So, since my listeners don't know you as well, can you introduce yourself a little bit, like where you live, a little bit about your kids, and how did you get into the role of Amanda's Favorites and reviewing planners and being such a leader in this community?
Sure. Okay. So I live in North Texas, like in a suburb of Dallas. I have two boys. One is 20 years old in college, and one is 15, and he homeschools. And I got into this channel on accident. I mean, I didn't know it was going to turn into a job. I just I had a private Instagram account where I only had friends and family, and I was like sharing my planners on there because I don't know, as people do who love planners, right? Like at the beginning of the year, I'm like, I love, my system. Like this is what I'm using this year. And I had a couple of friends ask me like, how do you use more than one planner? Like, and what are these planners? Like, you need to tell us about these, And I was like, well, let's see. Like, I actually started writing an email that I was like, I could just send out to those friends. And then I'm like, this is too hard to like write all this in an email form. And at the time, my sister had a YouTube channel when they were traveling the country in their Class A RV. And honestly, I hardly watched any YouTube back then. Like I watched theirs, but I didn't know much about YouTube. Like I just wasn't into it. I also wasn't into the Instagram world. Like I had my private family account, but I didn't know about planner accounts. I hadn't even looked at any. I wasn't on Instagram a lot then. And so anyway, I had this thought, oh well, I could just throw up a YouTube video and send them a link, to my friends who wanted to know. I mean, I even put it on our personal family channel because I didn't even like think about this, like that it was going to turn into anything. And then those videos just started getting some views, I mean, not like a ton, but like, I'm like, oh, like a couple hundred people like want to know about these planners. And then I don't really remember how it morphed into me saying, well, I could make some more YouTube videos. Like that was kind of fun, and I love planners. And so it just, one thing led to another type of thing. And yeah, I eventually had to clear off all my family videos because I wasn't smart enough, in the beginning to start a whole new channel. And I turned it into Amanda's Favorites. And so that's, yeah. And I just started getting planners to review, and it grew into what it is today.
That is so awesome. I didn't know it started so like almost accidentally. That is so funny.
Without me watching any other planner videos, without me being on planner Instagram, like once the channel kind of started, I was like, okay, well, I should start an Instagram for this, and then I started discovering the planner Instagram world. Like, so yeah.
I wonder if that has actually like added to your uniqueness in that you weren't modeling off of anything else. You were just kind of like going with what you felt right at the time. That's so cool. Okay, current stack for 2024. If you want to do the abbreviated version without like all the journals,
Yeah.
you can, because I know you use a lot.
Yeah.
But definitely give us like all your core planners that you're currently using.
Well, this is really interesting because I have just recently tried out, I was having kind of like a planner. I don't call it crisis or anything, but like indecision on like where am I going to sit this year? Like I thought I knew what my stack was when I recorded it in December, and I was sure that I was going to be in that stack. But then we traveled to take my son to college during that time. And when you're traveling for a long, and making a big change over Christmas, over New Year's, I don't know. It just feels, it threw everything like up in the air kind of for me. And then when I went on that trip, I only brought my Hobonichi cousin, which I didn't plan to use as like my main planner, but I was like, on the trip, this will be perfect because it's one book and I can keep track. There's room for daily lists, there's room for what we're doing, what we need to do. So I brought that. And then when I got back home, I was just like, I don't know what I'm going to use. So after trying out like literal, I don't know, tons of things, because I'm so lucky to have them all on my shelf, I'll tell you what I'm in today, but that like, I don't know where that could go. So I will do a quarter 1 planner stack update on my channel when we get to the end of quarter 1. So we'll see what has transpired by then. But as of today, I am back in my trusty ERIN CONDREN. So what I've probably been in, well, what I have been in for a weekly planner the most for the last 6 years. So I'm in my ERIN CONDREN. I do use my Ashley Shelley monthly as like my complete overview. And yes, I already flipped to February and like numbered the January days in the beginning because you know, when you get to the end of the month and you're like midweek is 2 months and you're having to flip that week. And I'm like, no, like we're too busy for that. So that's like my monthly guide. I don't use a monthly in my weekly planner. And all those big events are also in my iCal. And then this is surprising even to me. Usually I use a notebook for my daily list. So I usually either use a Becky Higgins little notebook or Planner Perfect for my daily list. That's what I'm in like 90% of the time. But I have landed in the Sprouted daily planner right now. And it's working so
Very
well for
cool.
me, her layout for daily. And I'm enjoying having the timeline again, which I don't have in a notebook unless I write it in, which sometimes I do. But I'm really enjoying everything about the Sprouted Daily right now. And so that's my basic. I do have Laurel Denise for my content planner. So this is for my YouTube and Instagram. Um, and then like my Hobonichi cousin is now used for like journaling. And I have all my journals, which have pretty much stayed the same since my 2024 stack video. And I'll link that in the description for everyone. So yeah, these are my core everyday, what I need by me on my desk.
You always go back to Erin Condren. It's so funny. I mean, we should draw a diagram because it'll be like you use something else, you're back to the EC. You use something else, you're back to the EC.
I
And whatever the
know.
other thing is will change. But it's always, but I love it. And I see why it's beautiful. It's utilitarian. The paper's amazing. Like it's a comfort planner for you, I think. So that's so cool.
It's
How
so
did
true.
you decide
Everything.
on Sprouted?
You know,
Like what do you think made you go to Sprouted?
I guess because I was toying with the cousin using that for my daily list, you know? And I don't know, I was liking having a little bit more structure and a dated page. Um, but I was like, I don't think I want like this for my daily. It could be, and I might actually go back into it. I used it for a while. I was really playing around in it as instead of journaling, using it for like my daily. Um, so I don't know. The only daily planner that I've ever stayed in, because usually it's a notebook for any long period of time, is Simplified daily. And
Yes.
so I don't know what made me pull out Sprouted. I've tried it before, but I haven't tried it this year. She changed up a lot of things this year. And so I really liked all her changes and it just clicked. And so we'll see how long I stay in it, but it's a really good um,
I
how long I stay in something is not a testament to how good it is. It's just that I am tempted by so many things on my shelves, you know, that becomes an issue.
I think that Sprouted, she's just done such it's a weird she has structure but so much flexibility, and that's such a difficult combo to nail because normally if you're going to have a lot of structure then you have these labeled areas that you're like, well, what do I do with this? But it's like, no, the structure's there but you get to decide how that structure looks. And yeah, I actually don't think I've seen the daily up close other than maybe in one of your videos, but I think I reviewed the hourly and I was like, wow, there is
Okay.
so much in here. So cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I love what the changes she made this year. Like she didn't just stay stagnant. She's very much like listens to her community. You know, even she's very small still, but really listens to her community and tries to make changes for them. So yeah, I love that.
Awesome. All right. So you mentioned your iCal. So that brings us to the question. You are the paper planner queen, or at least one of them. But what do you do digitally, Amanda? What is digital in your
Well, I
life?
definitely use iCal. I mean, every day. Any like big events or appointments go in iCal because I don't bring my planner with me anywhere I go. So any appointments or out of the house, since I'm at home most of the time, you know, I don't bring my planners out of the house. Um, and what else? I use the Notes app extensively. I know you do too, and love the Notes app. So I use the Notes app for so many things for my channel, like a million things to organize for my channel, but also just, you know, for me. So the Notes app, I also love Google Keep just for on the go lists and organizing type of list type of thing. Um, I think those are the only main like digital planning things I'm using right now. Oh, and I do an online journal called Day One, which I've kept up pretty well with for like more than a year now.
Wow, I feel like I downloaded that app and then forgot about it like 2 seconds later. But is it, do you make videos or you just like, you just put like a picture? I can't remember how it
You can
works.
put, well, for the free version, you can only put one picture a day and you can write as much as you want.
Okay.
Right now I have the paid version because I was using it so much. You can do as many pictures or even put video in if you want to, and then write. But I don't put a lot of video in there. It's more like, like capture my day in like a picture and writing. Um, and I know that iPhone just released a journaling app. I have not investigated it yet, but I mean, maybe that one's going to be even better.
I saw it pop up on my screen after some update and I'm like, I need to look at this. But then again, I promptly forgot. So there must be something that like I might have a mental block around it, but you're right. It deserves looking at. So we'll both have to do that.
Well, the cool
So
thing
that
about
answers my other question. Oh, go ahead.
The cool thing about day one is it's like a 5-year journal in that once you've done it for more than a year, it will pop up your other entries on that day. I don't know if the iPhone journal is going to do that. I mean, it probably will if it's going to be any good, but I just love the organization of that day one journal app. It's just really easy to use. And I think that's why I was attracted to it. And also the whole thing of being able to see the year before once you've been in it for a year.
That is really, really fun. I like that. All right. So when do you plan? Do you do like a morning session? Do you have your stuff next to you throughout the day? I would say tell our listeners when you make your plan, like for the day, maybe when you update your journals, and then if you do any dedicated, like longer term planning, like for the week or beyond that.
Yeah. So I usually look at my plans before I leave my office. So kind of like at the end of the day, or if I haven't been in my office because it's like an errand day, like come in here at the end of the day to like see what tomorrow is, like to write up tomorrow's list in my daily planner. So kind of at the end of every day, definitely check in with these planners that live in my office. Sometimes I'll carry them to my bedroom or something if I want to plan in bed, but for most of the time they stay in here. And then my journaling, I do a 5-year journal at night. So I do that at night, right before bed. And then a gratitude journal at night. In the morning is generally with like my scripture study when I will do like longer journaling in like the Hobonichi cousin is what I'm using now, but I've used just other like Stalogy or Planner Perfect, before for that. And that's when I'll do like a longer journal entry in the morning. Um, and then my day one journal app, I usually do that at night too, with my 5-year journal and my gratitude journal. And yes, it sounds like a lot, but it's like in my routine. And each one of those little like 5-year journal takes like 5 minutes or less. Just jot down something from the day. So it's not a big long session. Oh, and then my big range planning you asked. So I
Yes.
do try at the end of every month to go in and look at my goal planner. So this year it's in my golden coil, and this video is just coming out today, actually, as we are recording this.
Yay.
How the crazy thing I'm doing is saying that I'm going to use this golden coil notebook that I built for, like 10 years or more for goal planning. Because the thing I was missing with goal planning is every year it would be like in a planner, and then I just get rid of that planner or it's stored way back somewhere and I can never pull it out and see it. And I feel like so many times during the year, not just at the beginning of the year, but it would be really helpful to me to see like prior years and where I've come from and what I worked on and what I decided to leave behind and what I thought was important. And so I'm going to try all in this one notebook. I mean, we'll just see how long I stay in it, right? But I built it to be able to stay in it. So I go check that or wherever I was doing my goal planning, like hopefully at the end of every month, at the start of the month. So saying, what am I going to try to work on this month? And just kind of transfer that to like my planner and to like my mind too, to stay in the forefront.
That's so interesting that you don't necessarily do like a weekly session. You go right to the month and you just like set it. I guess it kind of makes sense with your YouTube because there's such like a broad view of your content creation and what you want to do. And I can see how a month might make more sense than a week. That's so cool though.
And I'm
Because you
not
have a
a
lot of
type
long
A
term,
personality. I feel like you might be like more type A. I don't know.
possibly. Maybe.
And so I'm not like I'm kind of like, let's just get the broad plan and like what's really important. And like let's not build like too many systems or checklists or things that would make me feel like I'm failing, basically. Let's just get what's important and focus on that and keep going.
I like it. And that way monthly works because you know you're going to get like those big picture things that contribute to the long term stuff you want to get done. I like
Yeah.
it. So you said you don't carry any of your planners with you. There's not even like a small one, or you're just like, nope, just my phone. Got my iCal. We're good.
No, honestly, and my purse little crossbody thing is too small for like any kind of a notebook. I mean, I could stick a tiny notebook in there, but I really don't. I don't even have a tiny notebook in my purse.
Well, the phone is such a good capture tool for on the go. I mean, even I who love paper have to admit that. So I can see
Yeah.
that. Like, you're like, if I just have something to jot down, I can text it to myself, email it to myself, use the notes app. Like, there are so many ways to do that with this little tiny computer I carry around. So
Yes.
we're probably good.
I mean, if I
Okay.
was out of the house more, I feel like I would definitely I would have some type of paper with me.
That makes sense. Yeah, I bring mine to work, but I'm like going to a place most days, so yeah, or
Yes.
at least more than not. So favorite pens and accessories. I know you have some overlap with me, but I feel like you use some other stuff. So you can share stickers
Okay.
also if you have specific tools you
I
like.
did not really prepare for this one, but I'm ready. Okay. So accessories, I'll tell you a new favorite accessory of mine this year are the little Moxie Life sticky notes. And where are mine? Here they are. Um, the Laurel Denise sticky notes, especially the vertical set.
Yes.
So you can see like how many I've used off this one. But these two sizes have just been super helpful to me. And like I've been using them all over in like every planner in like every way. So I'm like, these have definitely been favorites for me this year in my planning supplies. And pens, I mean, one of my favorite pens is the same as you, is the Pentel Energel. You have the Kleena. I have some Kleenas too. I just don't have that barrel out with me. But I do generally like a 0.5 or a 0.7, depending on what paper I'm writing on. So I don't write as small and neat as you do. And I don't know what, I just like it generally a little bit thicker, but it all depends on the paper, you know? And in like my Ashley Shelley, I only use friction, because just the Pilot friction clickers, generally O5, because I just need to erase all over that thing on the constant. So I would say I don't want to live without friction pens because like January has been erased all over, but you can almost, not tell. But before, like in years before when I started using friction, it would just be, white out and marks all over. And so definitely those. And so the Pentel Energel is like the pen that I would say comes through the most for me. And then the Zebra Sarasa, any of those, they have several. And I generally like the 0.5 in those. I've really been enjoying those two, especially in the Hobonichi. That's become one of my favorite pens to use in Hobonichi this year. And then a favorite planner accessory are the Laurel Denise pen pouches.
Ooh.
I don't know if she has these in stock anymore. She also has a slim one that I have and I love and I use every day. It's with my journaling stuff in my bedroom, her little slim one. But these stay in my office except when I'm traveling. But I keep like a certain group of pens in it. Like these are all like just some of my favorite right now for just anything. And I don't know why I like to keep them pulled out like all together because it just makes me feel like they're all here, like in a pretty pouch, and they're together. So you can tell I have the Pentel Cleana, I have Sarasas in there, and I have the Pentel X, which someone introduced me to
Ooh,
one of my
I've never tried
paper
that.
calls. Yeah. The X, I don't know if you would like it. It's really juicy. So it's like juicier than the Pentel Energel, but I like it for journaling, especially on like Planner Perfect paper. So a paper that will like take a juicy pen well, because it flows really well. So if you want to do like journaling where you're not worried about your handwriting and you just want to write and flow really well, then that Pentel X. So, and in this other one, I just have some Tombos. So, but yeah, so I always have these nearby because I don't want to pack them up and only use them when I'm traveling because I like them too much. So,
They're
I,
so cute. And I have to say, Laurel Denise is like, she is innovating left and right. She is like, I mean, the stuff she comes, I'm like, why didn't anyone else think of this? It seems so obvious, but like, she's the only one. Like that sticky pad, I've never seen anything like that. And it
yes,
just seems so obvious and so useful. Like, so go
right.
her. I mean, the fact that she came out with a planner where you can see your month and your week and your day, like she's doing amazing stuff. So
I
I'm
so
excited to
agree.
continue to see
I
what she's gonna
mean,
do.
yes, I love that company and what they're doing and Laurel Denise, 100%. Yes.
So on that note, well, okay, first I'll ask your dream planner mashup, but then I also want to know a teaser to my question, like what are you super excited about that you might, I mean, you can't share specifics of anything secret, but is there anything you're like, ooh, I can't wait for like this to come out?
Yeah. Um, well, here's something. I don't actually like know things that are coming out way before other people. I generally don't. So I mean, I do get my like boxes early, but this is not launch season, and I am not like privy, like these planner owners do not share, which they shouldn't, their privy information with me, you know. So I don't know any like thing exciting per se. um, but I will say my planner, if I was to match up like something right now, is I love your idea, honestly, of something like Hobonichi, but in a quarterly book, but with really good paper. And I would be like, I need monthly colors too. But I would love
Yeah.
that. If it could have something like Erin Condren paper, like monthly colors, like lay flat binding, but like, so a little bit more fun and less business-like to me, but I love that idea of yours. But if I were to make like maybe my just weekly planner right now, it would be like Erin Condren paper and like monthly colors. And it would have kind of the layout that I drew out in the Mom Agenda. And it would be a bound book like Mom Agenda, like that. And it would be like that layout that I drew out. So yeah, but it would be the Erin Condren paper and colors and have some whimsy in there.
That sounds amazing. I don't know that that's going to exist anytime soon because it's so unique. I
I
wish it
know.
did. I would love to try it.
I don't think it's going to exist anytime soon. I hate to say it. I just really don't. But I don't see any of those companies
I
making what
think
I want.
I think only if you were able to somehow get a partnership with one of those companies, which could happen. So I guess that I'd
I'm
be very excited for
open.
that. There you go. The Amanda layout. And it would probably have to be Erin Condren because that way they can make the paper and stuff like that.
I
All
know. I
right.
know.
Awesome. Well, what is next for you in terms of YouTube? Like, where do you, anything different you see for your channel? Anything you're super excited about? Anything you're going to do less of? I don't know. Like, what is next for Amanda's favorites?
Yeah. Um, well, I love these planner chats that I've added in. These videos get the least views of all my videos.
Yay. I'm just kidding.
I know, but the people who watch them say they love them, and so it's the people who we really want to connect with, who really want to make those connections. So I do hope to keep like interspersing planner chats throughout the year, even though they get the least amount of views. And I do hope to review some new planners this year that I have never reviewed before, because so many of my reviews are repeats, just the new stuff that year. And it doesn't leave a whole lot of slots open because I just will not do more than one video a week. And then there are weeks that I take off too. And so my goal this year is to get in, and I have my list and, you know, things I'm working on, is to get in some, just to add in a few different ones that have never been reviewed on my channel before, but that are really good options to spice it up. And also that way I have some new ones thrown in for my top 5 videos at the end of the year. You know, if I review several new ones, then I have some new ones to choose from for those videos. So I definitely want to really work to get those. Sometimes it's more work, you know, because it's not people who I've worked with before. And so it's just more work to get them and to then learn about the product and then to share it, and, you know, matching it all up with the right dates, with different launches. It just, I mean, that's why I've already got like things mapped out for the whole year. Things will change, but there are already people booking videos for the fall because that's the biggest planner launch season. And I have really limited number of slots, you know, for that time. So yeah. And now with me traveling at different times a year with my son in college, to whenever he ends semesters, to help him get back home, takes more of my time and off. That is a goal of mine too. It's to not worry if I take weeks off, to say, just, I mean, I've always said it's okay, but then, you know, the feeling that you get is like, it's not okay, you know, because then YouTube will stop showing my videos. You know, if you take more than 1 week off, it's not good on YouTube, because to be consistent is how your videos get shown. But I'm just trying to not worry about any of that and just, yeah, just go with, you know, life, the most important thing.
I respect that. I think at the end of the day, even whatever with the algorithm, but if you're doing good things, people will come across you again and again, and you'll be okay. Like, the content is going to matter after all, and you need a break, so you should definitely take them.
Thank you. We all need breaks. We do. And you come back fresher and better, you know, and with a new perspective.
Yeah, they should start rewarding people who take breaks by like in this running app that I use called Strava. If someone takes a break from running and then they post, Strava actually will like alert. They'll be like, this person just went for their first run and whatever. Like, it didn't tell me before. So actually it's like the opposite. So YouTube should consider something like that, rewarding people who step away from it. And then, ooh, when they come back, they probably have some really exciting things to share. So
I
now we're going
love
to tell
that.
YouTube how to function.
I love that that app does that. That's awesome.
Yes. Yes. Oh my gosh. Well, this has been so fun. I feel like our listeners and our viewers are going to like learn about us who already know us, and then about the other person, and hopefully check out all their stuff. And I will talk planners with you like anytime, Amanda. We should just have like planner dates. Actually, we do,
Oh,
because I'm in your Patreon. So I actually have your one this week on my calendar. I can almost never make it. And I'm like, oh, I'm home that day. So hopefully I'll get to see you in just a couple days.
oh, hopefully, I hope so. But yes, I'm always there. I feel like I talk planners with you since like I listen to your podcast on my walks, you know? And so, you know how you're like, yeah, you know, you feel like you're connecting, even if you're not like really connecting with the person. But thank you so much, Sarah. Yes, I will talk to you any day about anything. And all those links we mentioned will be down below. Thanks for being here and watching, you guys. Take care of yourselves so you can take care of others, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.